Unboxing the Walimex Pro Slim MC UV filter. It comes in this box and also in this box, and it looks like this. This is made for specifically 67mm, which happens to fit on my EFS 10 to 18mm lens, and then you can just take it in front of the lens and actually screw it on, which is, I think, kind of convenient. I got this mostly to prevent my lens from getting scratches, not specifically the lens itself, but much rather the lens glass here in front. A few years ago, for my already Canon 70D, I got this, sensor protection, not protection, but cleaning kit, which also happens to come with this camera lens cleaner. So now I assume this is mostly alcohol, and well, there is no label on it which says what it is. So now we spray a little bit onto here, and then it also comes with a cloth. At least that's one cloth I have in here, which is not the cloth it originally came with. But I just now am rubbing this a little bit around here. And after it is now somewhat clean, I now can apply the UV filter. Now the UV filter ideally does a few things for you, such as its high-quality polished filter glass multi-coated and extra thin blocks ultraviolet light, reduces aberrations and haze, and protects the lens from external influences. And the external influences are kind of the most thing I am betting on. Now, they also come again with a screwing mechanism that allows the lens filter to have other lens filters applied, such as a polarization filter or also an ND filter, which dims the light. So it blocks kind of the light and therefore makes the light that comes in less, and therefore makes the image darker, which sometimes could have benefits depending on what kind of style you want to shoot. So you can see that you can also fit it on. This is actually the exact same model that I have on my 18 to 135 lens, and I now screw this back onto this one, and this now means on all of my 3 lenses I have a UV filter. I also had this in the past, but I also tried without it in the past, and especially if you just want to throw in your lens into a camera bag. So let's say you're out on a shoot and you have your camera bag with you, and then you want to change lenses. Apart from the fact that you already have to think about the lens caps and to not have the sensor of the camera exposed too long to normal air, since normal air usually carries dust, what you then also need to think about is, if you don't have something like this on, that you cannot just throw it into the camera bag. Of course you could, but if you then either use these a lot or also use these a lot and then want to resell them after quite some time, this could become an issue, because then if there is a scratch in front of this and you happen to have your key somewhere in there or something else that might scratch the lens, then you might not be able to resell this at a higher price compared to if it doesn't have any scratches. So what I usually do right now is that in my camera bag I do have not specifically bags for my lenses. So there are also people who have specifically bags for the lenses, but I didn't find bags for my lenses to be particularly useful, because it just increases the threshold of switching the lenses. Not the threshold necessarily, but the friction when trying to switch lenses. So my camera bag is more and more running out of space, kind of. So what I have in here is one bag for all my lens caps. All the lens caps. Of course I only need a few, because one is always attached to the lens, but since I also have a speed booster as well as an adapter, because I have the Canon EOS M50 and I have EFS lenses which they need an adapter in order to adapt them to the EFS mount. And what usually has worked kind of is having this here, and then because there is some space on the right here, I have this camera here on the left. And since the EOS M50 is also not that big, it fits in here. And on the left then I have all the different lenses. I have also the Rakotti mount for my Rode Video Mic Go 2, which I recently got in order to be able to film audio or record audio. Then I also have a portrait lens, which is the 50mm EFS, also by Canon, which is kind of the latest version, and I also have a UV filter on there. But what you can see here is that obviously the diameter is different, so you might want to take a look at the diameter. In terms of cost, one UV filter costs $10.75, at least the one I bought, and the other ones are also in a similar price range. Let's actually switch through the different ones. So on here, what I do have is a 49mm UV filter, and this would have cost $7.90 in terms of euros, probably similar in terms of dollars, and the other ones cost 75, so 11 euros. Then I take these lenses. This would be my standard lens, but since I'm currently trying a bit in the studio, basically, I'm having the wide angle lens, which I recently got. This would be my standard go-to lens, and then I just put them into the camera bag. And this I previously had for my batteries, but I figured out that I could use on the outside here, this here, for my batteries. I actually ordered additional batteries because these don't last very long with the Canon EOS M50. And that's a total. That's kind of the end, I think. Applying and unboxing the Walimex 67mm slim MC filter to my lenses. And I had these Walimex filters for many years and I didn't really have problems with it. I might have noticed that there might be a little bit of increase in what you would call glass distortion. So because you have more glass in front of the lens, there might be more things like aberrations, even though it says it prevents chromatic aberrations. I don't really know if it actually does. It reduces aberrations and haze. So I don't really know if that is actually the case or if it's more on the other side. Maybe I should dive more into this. The box, I don't know what exactly to do with it. I kept these from the older filters, but eventually I figured, I don't know, I think I threw them away.